Welcome to the Mixed Media Abstract Art course. I am Candice Black, a visual artist and writer, and I will be guiding you through this process of creating a new mixed media abstract artwork. We will be trying experimental techniques, creating a composition, working with mixed media materials, and creating an abstract artwork. To get started, I'm working with two pieces of paper. One piece of paper is a yellow colour and the other is a light blue. You can choose any colour that you like, or you can work with plain paper. I am freely expressing a design on each piece of paper. First I draw wavy lines, and then on the second piece of paper I am drawing circles. Here you can choose any design that you like. Bear in mind that we will be weaving these two designs together. Next, we will be creating a new composition from our two previous designs. We will be doing this by tearing the paper. So to start with, I am tearing one sheet of paper vertically. Next, I will tear the piece of paper horizontally. We will then weave these two designs together to create a new composition. By doing so, we are looking at how we can express ourselves and then work with our designs in a way that means we are less concerned with what we are creating and less worried about the outcome and enjoying the process. Next, weaving the two designs together can be a little bit tricky. The key is to create an alternating pattern with the two pieces of paper that have been torn. So we are taking the vertical strips and the horizontal strips and laying them under and over each other to weave them together. This process will create a new composition, a new design, and allows for experimentation. It allows for creativity, and we get unexpected results from weaving the two designs together. This process of weaving the two designs together does require a little bit of patience and just an understanding that it doesn't need to be perfect at all. Next, we will be taking our new composition and tracing the design that's resulted from weaving the paper together. So I am using a marker pen to trace the design onto tracing paper. And as you can see, there are new lines, new shapes, a different rhythm to the design as a result of weaving the paper together. We will then transfer our new design, our new composition, to a piece of mixed media paper or multimedia paper. I shade the markings that I've made with a heavy pencil. This is a 3B pencil. So it's heavy and it has a soft consistency so that the marks will be easier to trace. Turning the tracing paper over and then sketching into the marker pen, the design transfers onto the mixed media paper or the multimedia paper. It's always good to check that the marks are transferring. Having transferred my marks to the multimedia or mixed media paper, I'm now going to apply watercolour to the design. Watercolour has a transparent effect. The design will still show through the watercolour. I've chosen to create a gradient of colour as the backdrop for my abstract artwork design. Here you can express colour however you feel, or within keeping with your design. Moving on to acrylic. Acrylic has a heavier consistency and is more opaque. It can be watered down, but I've chosen to work straight from the tube here. Taking my markings, I have painted over them as a guide. and then added my own expressive brush marks. With a good piece of mixed media paper, you'll find that the watercolour does dry quite quickly and you can work with acrylic not long after you've applied watercolour. In terms of applying colour, I have gone with simply how I feel in the moment and chosen colours that reflect my own mood. A good piece of mixed media or multimedia paper will hold watercolour and acrylic and multimedia very, very well. If you were to use paper that wasn't mixed media or multimedia paper, you might find that it falls apart and isn't able to hold the media very well. Working this way can be very enjoyable. It gives a structure to producing abstract art with multimedia, and we also get to move freely at the beginning of the process with lines and shapes that we can apply in our design that come from a expressive place. The process of weaving the design together initially creates a new composition, and we find that there are shapes and lines and rhythms that we hadn't planned for, and this can result in a kind of spontaneous effect to the design. And finally, I am overlaying my watercolour and acrylics with marker pens. The shapes I'm choosing I feel are in keeping with my design, and we have a lovely layered effect with different weights of line and different kinds of movement across the composition. Here I am adding additional shapes and lines that were not in the design to begin with, as I feel they fit.